Okay, so we'll talk about pandas. Pandas is another data structure in Python, and the data that we store in pandas are called as data frame. Okay, so data frame is basically your storing data in a table format in Python. Okay, so so when we read data, and in data analytics, we'll have to read data from various sources, right? Whether it's a database or whether it's Excel or it could be CSV file. So basically, you are reading data in a table format, and we store the data in table format. And in data frame in pandas, you have functions very similar to SQL. So what all things you can do in SQL, like select, filter, where, those things, there are equivalent commands in pandas, okay, for us to use. Okay. So today we'll just see how to create the data frame. And tomorrow we'll talk about how to perform operations on this data frame. Okay. So as usual, to work with pandas, you have to import pandas as PD. Okay. Now let's say we'll create a simple list and we will add data to the list. Okay, so I'm going to create a simple list. And if you remember, this is like a NumPy we are going to create. And we will add some values. Let's say we'll add countries and capital, let's say. So country, let's say India, capital, let's say we put New Delhi, let's say USA, we put, let's say we put France, and okay, so let's say this is a simple list. So if I print data and when you run it, so you got in a list format, right? In a linear fashion. Now we will convert this into data frame. So I'm going to say data underscore df. Df generally we write to indicate that it's a data frame. And now I will convert this list into data frame. So you say pd dot data frame, D capital, F capital, data frame. And here I'm going to pass data. Okay. So I pass data and now I say print data df. So you see, it has added India, New Delhi, USA, Washington DC, France, Paris. These are the data. And since we have not indicated rows and columns, now in data frame, you can give the column names as well as row names. Okay. So when you put column names, I mean, we have not put any column names here. So by default, it has added 0, 1. So if you imagine Excel, Excel will have A, B, C, D, E, F, basically like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left side rows. So data frame will have by default reference of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 columns, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So this will have reference to the rows as well as columns. Columns, okay, we have it anyways like 0 and 1, and row also. So every row is numbered. Every column is numbered. Now, it's up to us if you want to replace these numbers with some name. So let's say I will create a list of values called cols, and here I'm going to indicate that these are columns. So first value I'm going to put country, and second, let's say I put capital, right? Now okay, so this should be done before you convert into data frame. Okay, so I'm putting it here. Now I'm going to say here columns, okay, equal to cols. So I'm saying column should be picked from this list. So first column will take the first value, second column will take the second value. So now when you run the same example, you see here the default reference of 01 is replaced with the column names that we have given. Okay. And similarly, we can even replace the row names. Okay. So row is called as index. Okay. So row is called as index. So if I want to give index name, so you say here index equal to, and again, list. Now let's say I call this as Asia. Let's say call this Americas, and here I call this as Europe. So I've given columns. Columns I'm saying take from the coals list, and for index I'm giving the values directly here. Now when
So
you
you
run,
don't have to declare as a row or something or index or that before this step, like you did for calls.
right, so you can do like that, or you can actually put
Oh,
values here.
oh, you can direct. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I
okay,
can
okay.
say idx equal to, and then I'll put,
Either way works. Okay, okay.
okay, and you can put this idx
Yes.
here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Your voice is coming out very good, Shiva. I don't know. Any different mic are you using today?
Yes. No, I changed my laptop, so this is better.
Much, much. It looks like audio. I mean, studio
Yes.
quality audio.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'll use this.
Yeah, it looks like as if there's Amitabh Bachchan sitting other end.
I still use the hands free, like I'm just talking without this one headphone or anything. Okay,
Mhm.
that's good.
This is coming out really good. Okay.
Sure, sir.
So, yeah. So you see this? This is how you get the index name here. But mostly, see, when we deal with lots and lots of data, this is when you have small data set. Okay, you can have names for rows. But when we deal with lots and lots of data, like thousands and millions of data, it's impossible to give names. So in those cases, you'll have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 only, but always will have value for columns. So you hardly see any data which does not have a column name, right? So having column names in data frame is common, but giving row name is not so common. It depends, right? Now let's say you want to create a table for fruit production, let's say. So let's say I say fruit production for 2023. Okay. So what you'll do here, you will now I'm trying to visualize how the data would be. So let's say first column you have, okay, quarter. So we'll say quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. Okay. So we'll put columns like this. So we'll put columns like Q1, Q2, okay, Q3 and Q4, right? And let's say you put, okay, and here I put production quantity. Okay, so you have four, right? So I say Q1 quantity, production quantity is 1100, Q2 is 2100, then you have 4500, and you have 1900. Okay, here you have 2222, 3400, 5900, and 2500. Here you have 60,000, let's say. Then you have 45,000. Then you have 32,000. Then you have 51,000. Okay, now if I create a DF, so I create a DF, and of course I don't have index, so I'm going to delete this. Now let's say I print df. So you see here, so this is like production in Q1, production in Q2, production in Q3, production in Q4. And you have four different. Now, in this case, you want to know what kind of production is this, isn't it? So here what I'll do, I'll put index as first row, let's say is for apple. Second is for, let's say, orange. And third, let's say, is for banana, right? Now I will say here index equal to idx. Okay, and then you see, so it says this is apple quantity in Q1. So a number of apples produced in Q1 is 11,000 kg, let's say. Banana was 32,000 in Q3. So this is a situation where you might need to use an index. But bulk of the situation, let's say you want to talk about sales, and we will see a lot of those things as we go along, right? So you may not want to have index. That's why I'm saying index is not compulsory, but columns will be compulsory. You will have to add columns. Okay, so this is how you are using pandas to create data frame. Okay. So shall we
Good,
stop here for
Swapnil.
today? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Sure, Swapnil. I just have a few clarification or questions,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what is the intention of coming up with this form? Like, we want to manipulate using the Python itself.
Yes, yes. So
Is
now
that the
let's say
intention?
you want to plot graph. You want to use it for analysis. Okay.
Okay, you have a canvas you can plot here. Okay.
Yes, and that's what we'll do tomorrow. Okay, so what we'll do is
Mm-hmm.
we will read a file. Okay, and we'll read a CSV file, and we'll try to get data from CSV file, and then we will see how we can work with that. So this is just to show you how to convert list into a data frame. But tomorrow we will read a
Okay.
CSV file, which could be like 10,000 rows or 5,000 rows.
Huge
Okay.
one. Yeah, yeah.
So now I want to
Good.
know what is the average production of Apple for this year, right? I want to
Mm-hmm.
plot graph for apple versus orange versus banana for this year. So you can create, using this data, you can create a stacked bar chart, isn't it? So
Got it. Okay.
you can create stacked bar charts. So it's for reading your data set, okay? Because when you talk about data, we always think of rows and columns, correct?
Awesome.
When you think of data, it's
Sure.
always rows and columns, right? Whichever
Yeah.
language or format you use. So we always think of data in rows and columns. So you need to have something equivalent in Python, which using which you can read those data in rows and columns. So pandas
Got
is
it.
that data type which is used to read data from tables.
Awesome. And does it have the capability like the Excel formulas, everything is
Yes.
embedded in Python as
Yes.
well?
Yes. Yes. In fact,
Oh, okay.
NumPy has all the Excel formulas. NumPy we generally associate with NumPy. Excel.
Okay.
So,
Excel. Okay, got
so
it, got it.
now if let's say I do import NumPy as NP. Now you think of a formula, okay? Max, you have
Yeah.
max,
Oh,
okay?
some. Okay. Good,
Yeah, you
good.
have mean, you have sum, right? Cumulative sum, okay? So yes, your NumPy has all the Excel formula, and pandas we associate with SQL. So
Okay.
all the where clauses, select so many columns where, filter, group by, all those things. So Excel we generally associate with NumPy. All your
Got it.
Excel formula is with NumPy, and pandas
Okay.
we associate with SQL database.
Sequence. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So all everything that you can do in SQL, you can do in pandas.
Panda. Good to know, Sapnan. And lastly, I had one more question,
Yeah.
last question, hopefully. Uh, So always do we need to bring into Python from other database? Like for example, can I independently work using the Excel? Like I just need to point there and do all the formulas, bring it up into
Correct.
like from here you can calculate, or you have to import all those into the data frame
Good
and
question.
then do the functions.
Now you see that. See, when you have data in some other format, let's say text format or even database format. Now,
Okay.
uh, I'll give you this example. When you go to your grocery shopping, right? You buy things for entire 1 week, not for one time of your meal. Why?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Because you
Yeah.
don't want to go out for every time.
Every time. Yeah.
Right?
Makes sense.
Now,
Makes
let's say you
sense.
want to make breakfast, you go and get only breakfast things. In the lunchtime, you go and get your lunch related things. Isn't that best? You're always getting
Yeah.
fresh, right? Your money is
Mm-hmm.
stuck less, right? You are spending less money, less money is stuck. But it is faster to do things when you go and buy for a week. The same
Mm-hmm.
concept here. You can always go and run a SQL query on database and get very specific data. Now, let's say I want to see the average of Apple. I can directly run a query on database to give, which will give you the average of Apple production.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you have banana production. Again, you go to database. So every time you go and come back, it takes time to go and come back.
Got it.
So, and you are making connection every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, it works well when you have developed an database related applications. But when you're dealing with hundreds and thousands of rows,
Yeah.
then see, most of the time you're getting duplicate data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The same. The older will be the same. I hopefully anything new can be added or something
Correct.
like that.
Yeah, so see,
Instant.
in analytics, very rarely we add stuff. Okay, so that's
Mm-hmm.
the difference between your OLAP and OLTP. Now, when you talk about dynamic data set, when like say you are logging to Amazon, in Amazon, every second data will change. So in that
Sure.
case, you always want to fetch the latest data. So there
From
it
that.
makes
Okay. Got
sense
it.
to
Yeah.
directly pull data from database. But in analytics, you are analyzing data of last month. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're
Got
analyzing
it.
data of last month, last year, there is no chance the data will change, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So why
Yeah.
don't you get all the data at one time and then do the processing? That's where process become fast.
Pasta. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now let's say I want to find average banana sale or total banana sale. Now for total banana sale and average banana sale, the data that I'm going to read will be same, correct? To
Mm-hmm.
find
Got
average,
it.
I need to find total and then divide. So one time I'm getting the data for banana for average, second time I'm getting data for banana for total, right? So it is
Yeah.
waste of time, correct? Same data you're pulling twice,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? And also it's like, you're going, coming, you're going to database, getting the data, then you're processing. So it becomes slow process. So it's
Yeah.
it might take little more time to log in. And when you fetch all the information, now you have all the information in with you, and the rest of the
Yeah.
process will become faster. So yes, both are valid ways. But depending
Okay.
on how much work you are doing and what kind of work you are doing, if you are doing on past data, historical data, data analytics, it makes sense to read all the data and then perform all the analysis in
Yeah.
Pandas. But if you're on
Got
latest
it.
data, I want to know what happened, how many people logged into the system right now.
Dynamic data. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it makes sense to connect and get the exact count, isn't it?
Sounds good. It has both the capabilities you're saying,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And multiple source, of course, it should have the capability as
Yes.
well, right?
So one more thing, yes, good point. Now, if I have to pull data from multiple source, now it becomes problem for me to fetch data in real time because I'll be fetching data from
Mm-hmm.
one source, second source, third source, fourth source.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to cook for lunch and you're going to 5 different places. By the time you come home, it's already dinner time, right? So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
you want to have all the data with you and
Mm-hmm.
then
First.
process it. So if multiple source, then it makes sense to do like this only,
Yeah. 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 Makes sense. Yeah.
right?
Thanks, Swapnil. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure, guys, we'll continue from here. So tomorrow we'll take one real data and we will see performance of pandas. What are different functions that we use? Okay, I'll just go and attend my guest for now.
Please, yeah. Sorry it took more time, I guess. Yeah.